Right to be Read podcast, episode number 146, interview with Ricardo Fayad.
You are listening to the Right to be Read podcast, and this is your host, Ani Alexander.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Right to be Read podcast. It's me, Anne Alexander, and as always, in this episode too, I will try to inspire and encourage you. Although this interview will be more practical in terms of introducing something that is new, that is free, and that is useful, so you will be able to use it in your self-publishing journey. So today, I'm talking to Ricardo Fayad. Ricardo is the co-founder and chief marketing officer of reedsea, which is a marketplace connecting authors with the best publishing professionals, let's say editors, proofreaders, designers, marketers, etc. An avid reader and technology enthusiast, he likes to imagine how little players will build the future of publishing, further empowering authors and allowing them to publish to the same standards as the biggest publishing companies. And I think what they have founded is very unique, and it's a nice place where actually writers can go and find everything they need in order to make their draft manuscript into a good quality published book. So let's dive into the interview. Let's see what they have created. And at the end of the interview, you will find out also about their very recent launch of a tool that all of us will definitely need and be using quite often. Let's start. Hello, Ricardo. Welcome to the Right to be Read podcast.
Hi, Anne. It's really good to be here.
Yeah, it's really nice to actually finally connect, because I heard about what you're doing quite a while ago, and I'm just thinking right now, how come I never actually thought about reaching out and doing an interview? So I'm correcting my mistake in here.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, no, we've known about the Right to be Read podcast as well, and I was thinking about reaching out. So I think it's good timing.
Oh yeah, it's perfect timing. Now that, we're in the same country with you, it's even better and easier because
Exactly.
We're in the same time zone, finally.
Exactly, yeah. So how are you finding London?
Oh, it's really nice. Today is exceptionally sunny, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I know you as someone who has founded reedsea.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you're also a writer, or do you want to introduce yourself in terms of how you are related to writing and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, sure. So I'm not a writer yet. I might be at some point. Definitely want to. But I came to founding reedsea more from the reader perspective, I think. So I was with a friend, and we're avid readers and early adopters of the Kindle, and I read on my phone, and we started basically in France a few years ago, and not a lot of people read on their phone at that time. So we thought a lot about the digital revolution, talked about it, and had this idea that there was something to do with self-publishing authors and helping them really get to the right editors, designers, marketers, and all that, and kind of the idea of reedsea was born from there.
Okay, I see. So basically, you started from reader's perspective, which is like a really nice point, because very often we end up thinking too much from the writer's perspective, and we don't really, we make mistakes, which are because we don't realize what the end user is getting in terms of experience. So I guess that's really nice point. So let's just, start digging into what reedsea is really about. So, let's say I'm a writer who has written her first book. I'm digging into self-publishing because I don't really want to go to the traditional route. Obviously, there are plenty of options out there, what to do and, where to go. So somehow I'm just doing a Google search, or someone is writing recommending me check out this website, and I get to your website. So what it is for, what do I get as someone who has no clue what to do, who is just starting out? What do I get there?
Yeah. So as you said, there are lots of options out there, and that's actually what reedsea is all about. What we offer on our marketplace is a really kind of select group of hand-picked professionals. And by that, I mean editors, copy editors, proofreaders, designers, typesetters, marketers, and publicists. We'll soon add translators, literary translators as well. And the difference between reedsea and kind of other marketplaces, more generalist like Odesk or Upwork, is that we really go through every professional's profile to check their information and make sure that they're really good people. So they all have a traditional publishing background, worked at a traditional publishing company or freelance for a publishing company. They've worked with best-selling authors who've got kind of Stephen King's editor, Stephen King's designer, George R. R. Martin's editor, people like that, Paul Krugman's editor as well. And in terms of publicists, we've got also two of Tim Ferriss's publicists. So that's kind of people like that who we target and who we get on reedsea.
Okay, I see. So basically, what I'm imagining from what you said is that it's a place where I can find freelancers for my book who can work on my book, just like Upwork and other places. But these are specifically specialized in the book market and, things, services related to books. And they have been selected by you. So like the quality of the service provided is already ensured, right?
Exactly. And because it's already ensured by our selection, we actually insure it further through what we call our reedsea guarantee, which means that if a problem arises in the collaboration, if the editor doesn't deliver on time, or if you're not satisfied with the result, then you can come to us. And even if you don't contract with reedsea, you contract directly with the professional. We kind of act as a third-party guarantor, so we can issue refunds or stuff like that. So we kind of really insure any kind of money that's spent on the platform. We act as a kind of insurance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So let's say I'm looking for a book cover, just, since it's very important and I have to have it professionally done. So I'm coming to your website. I'm looking for designers. How do I make sure, how do I find out whom to choose? Is there what do I see? Do I see their portfolio, reviews of customers, or, do you put any ratings on your the people who are working for you?
Yeah. So what you see, first, when you come on the marketplace, you can filter your search by genre. And by the type of service you need. So if you're looking for a cover design for a self-help book, you'll put cover design, self-help, and you'll get a list of maybe 20, 30 designers. And then we've got a preview of the designers directly on the marketplace. So you can just click and see their portfolio and work experience. And then you can click through to see their whole profile. And on the profile, you get their kind of an overview, so short bit of text about who they are, then their work experience, the genres they specialize in, and then finally the portfolio. We'll add reviews from customers pretty soon, but the thing is, they're all gonna be 5 stars because we do informal surveys right now after collaborations, and everyone's happy. So it's gonna be a bit like Uber, the marketplace for drivers, where everyone's got 5 stars. So that's why we don't do it yet, but we'll add it soon.
Well, it's like podcasting. Podcasts usually either have 5 stars or don't have reviews at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So basically, since you spoke about being happy, let's kind of, dive into a little bit sadder part of the thing. Let's talk about prices. What kind of price range are we talking? Because you spoke about, people who work for Stephen King, people who work for Tim Ferriss. So for me, I don't know, subconsciously, I imagine lots of zeros.
Yes and no. It depends on the service. So what we found is that the market is really not transparent, um, especially in terms of design, also in terms of editing. So I can give you. So we've had over 1,000 something quotes exchanged to the platform so far. So we're soon going to release an infographic to give a bit more transparency to the market, saying this is what professional editors charge for copy editing on an 80,000 word manuscript. So I can give you ballpark ranges. For example, let's see, developmental editing on an 80,000 word manuscript is going to cost somewhere between $1,500 and maybe $3,000, depending on the amount of words that's needed on the writing, basically. For cover design, the median rate is $500, and it can range from $300 to $2,000, depending on the designer. So Stephen King's designer, the one I have in mind, it's going to charge maybe $2,000 for a cover, but it's going to be something really, really mind-blowing. But we've got other designers in the UK who work for the biggest houses and have done covers also for Stephen King's books, and they charge £500. So that's affordable.
Okay, I see. So you said that you also provide guarantees. So in case, like, I don't know, for example, for the cover design, do you have any limitations about how many options or how many revisions the designer has to make to the cover? I mean, when I pay the price, do I know what I'm getting? I mean, let's say maybe I won't like what I'm getting at that point. What is the process? Because I find it very difficult with especially creative processes like cover design, where it's not like editing and straightforward kind of service. Sometimes you end up going back and forth for quite a long time. So how are you managing those processes?
Yeah, so usually, so we don't want to set like rules on how it should be done on the platform, because different designers have different ways of doing things, and I mean, it also depends on the author, what they want.
Very often they don't know what they want. That's the problem.
True. So the designer usually is going to say, this is my price for doing like start with 3 concepts and then we do 3 rounds of revisions. And usually if there's need for more rounds of revisions, the designer is going to do them as well. But that's like, they start with a contract, and so this is on reedsea, so we see that. So if the author then comes to us and says, look, I've paid £500, but I'm not happy with the result, then if they agreed for 3 rounds of revisions and the 3 rounds have been done, then we can't do anything for the author. But if the designer has done only 1 round of revisions and wants more money, then we can tell the designer, doesn't work like that, but that's not what you agreed to, and we can issue a refund to the author if the designer stops working, which we've done one time in the past.
Okay, I see. So what about, like, do you provide like packages? Let's say I don't really have time to go through all the processes of selecting the freelancers for all the activities that needs to be done to the book, to my draft manuscript. Do you have any like ready kind of, you pay and get everything done or not?
No, that's not our model. So we've got great customer service, so anyone can drop me a line. I mean, when authors sign up on reedsea, they get an email from me asking about what they're writing and if I can be of any help with like recommendations from freelancers on our marketplace. And sometimes they tell me don't have time to do the research, I just want this book. They want a package basically. So I'm happy by email to outline the costs for everything and recommend freelancers for every step of the way and guide the author. But if we start offering like formal packages, then we turn into a model that has to charge more for doing the kind of hand holding, and we don't want to turn into that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So basically, I mean, the way I'm seeing this, it's like a really nice place to go to, because you end up with already selected and filtered people who have been in the industry and who have been monitored by you, and the quality is known, that it's a minimum of very good quality, and also we get your insurance as a backup to make sure that everything goes well. So pretty much it's kind of I don't know, I mean, do you have any competitors? Because I haven't actually seen anything like this tailored to writers specifically.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of competitors, I think there are kind of agencies who do that, but they're agencies, they're not marketplaces. So you don't see the freelancer, they're going to recommend 3 people to you, but their network is kind of closed. It's not like an open marketplace. And I mean, the good thing about this kind of marketplace model as well is that we allow you to get in touch with 5 people at once with a single brief. So that kind of gives you the opportunity to test the waters, and if you're not really sure about what you need in terms of editing and how much it would cost you, then you can upload a sample, ask them for developmental editing, and they're going to do a sample edit, and they're going to provide you with a quote, so you can see if they all quote you between $2,000 and $3,000, and you know that that's what good editors are going to charge you for developmental editing.
Okay, I see. So very often, I mean, when I'm working with writers, the most difficult thing and the thing that everyone wants once their book is ready are either the book launch kind of organization or the book marketing and basically moving it forward. So are there any specialists who are doing that type of things for writers on your platform?
Yeah, so we've got 2 kinds of people doing that. We've got publicists, and these are people who focus basically on getting coverage for the book, either in publications, radio, even television, or more relevant for fiction, in blogs. So they either offer press coverage or blog tours. And so these are people who are used to working with traditional publishing companies. So if for self-publishing authors, you need to have a very strong story if you want to pitch it to a publicist on our marketplace.
Yeah.
So, for example, right now I've got someone writing Peter Thiel's biography, and that's a pretty strong pitch. Or we've got a Uber driver who wrote a book about his experience driving for Uber in San Francisco, and again, there's a pretty strong pitch there that can get you in the media. So, if you write nonfiction or narrative nonfiction, if you've got a compelling story, then yeah, I'd say a publicist makes sense. If you write fiction, and you want to do a blog tour, then I'd say a publicist makes sense. Otherwise, we've got marketers, and we've got only 4 on the marketplace, because finding a good book marketer who's not going to charge you tens of thousands of dollars for a marketing campaign is very hard.
Yes, it is. I know.
So we've got 4. They're really good. We continuously get applications from book marketers, but we kind of want to have a chat with all of them before we allow them on the marketplace. And most of them, they're just not convincing. They're very good at selling themselves, but we don't believe they'd be good at selling books, so we don't show those.
Okay, so since you mentioned that, and that was something I was thinking about, let's kind of, change the viewpoints. Let's get to the people's shoes who are providing those services. So let's say, I mean, I'm sure there are some editors out there who are listening right now, or, they may be some cover designers. So let's say I have a service that I provide which is relevant to your marketplace. What is the process? What do I do first? I want to become one of those people who are featured on your website. So what do I do?
You just sign up as an author would, and during the sign-up process, we ask you whether you're signing up as an author or signing up as a professional. So if you're an editor or designer, you select professional, and then you get a few emails asking you to complete your profile. So that's what we judge on, basically. So we need professionals who sign up on reedsea and want to be considered to really fill in their profile exhaustively. So at their overview, as I said, the genres, the languages, the work experience, the portfolio, and once the profiles are complete, we check them every week and make decisions based on the information that is in the profiles. For marketers, as I said, it's a bit like we need to go a bit further. If someone looks really interesting, then we want to have a chat with them because, again, marketers are good at selling themselves on the profile.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so basically, what are the is it a membership site, or are you getting commission from what the service providers are getting? What is the model? I mean, for the client, like for the writer, what are his costs? Just whatever he pays to the freelancer?
Yes, plus a 10% reedsea fee on the author side.
On the author side, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the price plus 10%. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we outline that on the quotes they receive. There's a little reedsea fee underneath, a bit like Airbnb, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I see. So, and what is next? I mean, how is this gonna develop? Do you have any future plans?
We've got a lot of things planned. So we just released this week what we call the reedsea book editor, which is basically a free writing and formatting tool that's probably the only one out there that does really good typesetting and export to print-ready PDFs on top of the EPUB. So I'll let you check that out on reedsea for more info, but we're going to spend the next few weeks and months really working on it to add more features, make it more collaborative, and really integrate it to the marketplace. So that's our main thing.
Okay, so it's for writers. They can use this tool to write their book and format it and typeset it to be ready and to get it as a file?
Exactly. So you can either write on it or copy-paste chapter by chapter, or soon, in a month or so, import a Word document or Scrivener document, and then use it just for the formatting. So the idea basically is that it looks a little bit like Medium, the blogging platform, and we control the formatting. So the first line of the chapter isn't indented. For example, if we can add scene breaks, you can add chapter breaks, and the PDF that you export. So it takes a few seconds to export, but then the PDF is perfectly typeset. It generates a table of contents. You get the front matter, the back matter, the copyright, and you've got pretty much everything in there. So it's a bit hard to explain because there's a lot of things that go into the typesetting, and there's actually really powerful technology behind there. And usually sounds easy for authors when it's really not.
Well, no, I mean, definitely, I'm sure that creating that is not easy, but to put it in simple terms, so basically, if you are a writer and you want your book to look professional at the end while you are uploading it to Amazon or other platforms, or, you want a paperback version, this tool helps you in an easy way without big hassle and without really, spending hours and hours, just have it done as a result, right?
Exactly, and it's free, so.
And it's free, which is a big bonus. Okay, so that's another nice tool that writers could use. So is it in beta, or is it released already? Can people go ahead and use it already, or what's the situation?
Yeah, no, it's released. So when you sign up on reedsea and go to kind of your reedsea dashboard, you've got a section called My Books that's just above the marketplace. And in My Books, you can create a new book. And as I said, either write or copy paste or soon import your book. And from there, you enter the editor, so the writing tool, and you can format it there and export the relevant files there.
So do I understand correct that you can choose the format you need? Let's say I want a Kindle ebook, and then it will format it accordingly, like for Kindle or CreateSpace or I don't know, Smashwords or whatever you will need eventually. So
there's two formats that we export that are actually the only formats that a writer needs, which are the EPUB. Mm-hmm. And with the EPUB, you can go to Smashwords, you can go to Apple, you can go to Barnes & Noble, And you can go to Amazon, because Amazon has a free converter that will convert your EPUB to the MOBI file that's required for Kindle.
Uh-huh.
And so we've checked our EPUB basically to make sure that it would work perfectly on and meet the requirements of all the distributors I mentioned, and also that when used within the Amazon converter, it would turn into a Kindle file that again works perfectly.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so basically nice to have like yet another option, a free one to to use actually. Okay, so if we go back to the writers, I mean, based on your experience, because you kind of see the both sides of the story and, you see what's happening, what do you think are the biggest struggles and biggest like issues that they need to solve right after they have written their first draft?
It really depends on the writer, but I'd say that they need to figure out their goals as a first thing. So what do they want out of the writing, whether that's like to get published or to just to have their friends and family write their book, or if they actually want to make a living out of their writing in a near future, and from there invest accordingly. At first draft, usually what I recommend authors to do is to just polish it further and get to a point where they feel that they cannot add more to the story or refine the story further. And that's usually the right time to work with an editor. The biggest mistakes I see authors at that point do is skip the editing process. And the second biggest is do the covers themselves. And I'm really like,
yeah,
I don't speak enough about that, because we get a lot of authors coming for editing on reedsea, and then the books are out, and I just hate the covers because they do it themselves, and authors cannot judge their own covers.
Oh yeah, it's true. They cannot judge. And then I do believe, I mean, we had several interviews with book cover designers specifically, where we were talking about that there are so many nuances to the thing, and that, the cover is kind of like a sales pitch. So you have this small thumbnail on Amazon, and what the cover's function is to attract attention and to make sure that the person clicks on that. And not always what is very artistic and very nice works in that term, in terms of, getting that goal. And also there are so many nuances in terms of that each genre has its specific stylistic kind of, things. And it's very kind of I don't know, I mean, even if you are a designer but not specifically a book designer, I don't know all these very detailed elements that can affect, then I guess you shouldn't get into there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we've come across some top designers who are also very good on their first covers, but it's not the case for everyone. I think there's, as with everything, there's two things: there's talent and there's experience. And if you wanna make sure that you get both, really.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I mean, usually I end up with like a more general question. I don't know if it's kind of it's very relevant to you, since you yourself haven't written a book. But on the other hand, since you've had this, close relationship with writers so much, maybe, just one specific important advice to newbie writers.
To newbie writers?
Yes.
I think my main advice to them usually is to do a lot of research before they start getting the book out there. So while they write research, marketing advice, I mean, we have marketers on reedsea, but as an author, you should, sadly nowadays, you can't just write. You have to know a lot of about marketing and be kind of savvy there. And there's so much free advice out there on good blogs, on good podcasts, that if you spend like 1-2 hours a day just doing research about marketing and getting ideas, writing them down, then when you finish with your second draft and are looking into editing, you can already start drafting a marketing campaign, and that makes a huge difference when you launch the book. Because even if digital books nowadays can like pick up speed on Amazon at any point in the future, maybe in 1-2 years, it can start selling. Launches are still really, really, really important on Amazon to get visibility. So you don't want to miss that, especially for your first book.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for coming over. Thanks a lot. And thank you for the platform and especially for the free tool. So we appreciate what you do, and I wish you success.
Thanks, Annie. And it was really, really good to be here with you. And I also wish you all the best with the podcast.
Thank you. Well, that was it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Go out and check out reedsea and see what it can do for you. And hopefully it will help you create better books, publish better quality books, and become a well-known author. Otherwise, just, do everything we always spoke about. Keep writing, keep the inspiration and motivation up, and keep listening to the Right to Be Read podcast. So subscribe to it not to miss an episode, and I'll meet you in the next one.